Hey family, how's it going? So I am back with another cooking video, and this time I am cooking two quiches. One of the quiches that I will be cooking is, and I'm looking right here on on YT. I'm cooking a chorizo and cheese quiche and a spinach and artichoke quiche, and I'm gonna cook the chorizo and cheese quiche first. And I got this recipe from Cooking with Carolyn, who when she first came on a couple years ago, I recognized her face because I believe we went to school together. And I was telling her that I just couldn't remember the school because, you know, during your life you've gone to so many different schools, but I finally remembered, and I'm gonna let her know when I let her know that I did her recipe. So anywho, here we go, you guys. So we're doing the chorizo quiche. The first thing that we need, and let me go ahead, excuse me 1 minute because I want to go to the recipe and have everything down. So the first thing we need is one frozen deep dish pie shell, and that's this right here, and they come in twos, you guys, and that's good. So I was able to use one for the chorizo and one for the spinach and artichoke. The next thing we need is 1 to 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. Let's see, here we go. And I have that in this pot right now. We also need 10 ounces of linguine or beef or pork chorizo. I am using pork chorizo. Linguine or linguine it's just a different form of a chorizo right here. Also, I'm glad to be just using this little bit of oil because I believe the chorizo does come with it already comes pretty seasoned. It had a cast on it, which is like this little plastic paper, and I took like a sausage form, and this is how it looks. So this was a pork chorizo, and it came in like and it was easy to take the casting off. Okay, the next thing we need is a half cup of shredded manchego choice. So this is manchego cheese right here. It's a Spanish cheese, and this is how the thing comes shredded, so I had to shred it. And she also said that you could use any cheese you want, but I kind of wanted to try something new before, and it's pretty good. It's like a dry type of cheese, but it's nice. I could tell they would be good with, you know, things like that, or maybe even on vegetables or what have you. Okay, so then the next thing we needed 2 tablespoons of chives, finely chopped. Here's my chives. I still need to chop it a little bit to kind of, you know, eyeball how much I want, and then just chop it like that. Next thing we needed was 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. And I will be measuring these things because I don't want to do it. And with the salt, again, I think she mentioned you don't really have to use a lot because it does come mindful. But I'm using this medallion sea salt grinder. This is the one that I got from Dollar Tree, you guys. It's my first. The next thing I need is to taste is black pepper. And again, I'm going to use whole black pepper grinder that I got from Dollar Tree. And the next thing I need is 3 extra long eggs. I don't have that out now because I didn't want to put them out and then they crack or anything like that. And you know how eggs look. And then the next thing I need is 1 cup and 1 1/3 cups of half. And that's this right here, and this is the 1/3 cup, and of course I measured that out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything together, and the thing I'm going to do is my oven is on 375, and so I'm going to just put this in. She said to put this in preheated for 8 to 10 minutes, I believe. Let's see if it says 8 to 10 minutes. Yes, and then I also poked some holes in the bottom of the shell, and then pre-bake the pie right. And then in a medium saucepan, I'm going to preheat the oil for 5 minutes and brown the chorizo for about 10 to 15 minutes. What I'm doing now. And it's all on So you just have to adjust it, of course. Okay, you guys, so hey family, so I am back. Here is the preheated crust that I put in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. That's how it's looking. And here's also the mixture now, because I mixed everything up. The chorizo's in there, the chives is in there, the milk, the eggs, everything that was supposed to be in there. And I just wanted you guys to show you guys how it's supposed to look, just in case you second guessing yourself. I'm going to pour it now in the crust, and she said to make sure that you put it evenly in the crust. So I'm not going to put it on, do it online. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And then I'll come back and show you it inside the crust. Okay, I'll be back. Family, so here we are. I did put the quiche in the in the crust pan, and I'm also using my cookie sheet to hold it. She said to be careful when you're putting it in the oven because it may overflow. I don't know if I put too much in it, but what I noticed is when I was halfway putting it in there, the meat part was stuck at the bottom. So what I had to do was use a spoon and kind of take the spoon and take the meat mixture and just gently put it all over, so I'll get enough of that. I use most of the mixture, and I think this is pretty good enough. She also said that it will rise kind of maybe like a cake. That's normal. For it to overflow a little bit, you know, that's why the cookie sheet part is here. So I'm going to put it in the oven at 375 for 35 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'll be preparing for the next quiche to put in. So that give me enough time because I just have this one cookie sheet. So I will be back. Okay family, so I'm back doing the spinach and artichoke quiche. The first thing you're going to need is the frozen deep dish pie shell, which I showed you in the first when I was doing the first recipe of the chorizo. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of extra virgin oil, which I put in this pot. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of shallots or purple onions. I use purple onions. You're also going to need 1 to 2 garlic cloves. I had minced garlic already, so what I did is make sure I didn't have any of the juice in there, and I put that in here as well. Then you're going to use a half cup of chopped spinach and a half cup of artichoke halves. And so I chopped the spinach up, and then the artichokes halves. No, I chopped up the artichoke halves, and the spinach was frozen, and I thawed it out. And then you have to squeeze out the excess juice that's in it, and that's what I did. Then to taste, I did put some kosher salt in it. I didn't use black pepper. And then I went over here and I made the same mixture that I did with 1 1/3 of half and a half and 3 milks in here. Instead of adding the machinga cheese, I use goat cheese, and it said I use this one, but you can use any type of goat cheese, any brand. And it said to use 3 tablespoons. When I was measuring it, I noticed that it was most of the container, and when I looked, it said 3.5 in the container, so I just dumped the whole thing in there pretty much. And then I did use some of my salt again, and then also some of my pepper to taste. And what else? Oh, okay. And then now I'm going to take this mixture right here, my spinach and artichoke mixture, and put it together with this mixture. And then it's going to, I'm just kind of turning it around and let you see. That's just the, let me see, that's just the goat cheese you see right there. So you really have to mix it around or whip it. You could use a spoon or one of those things to whip it. I forgot what they call it. So I'm gonna put the mixture in, and then I'm going to put it in my shell. Something did happen, and I noticed it because I was noticing it when I was doing the first one, and I noticed it with this shell. When I preheated the shell, I noticed it that it was getting cooking real fast, and I was trying to wait till the 8 to 10 minutes, but really the 8 minutes, as she said. When I did my first pie, what I realized with the pie, here I'm back to the mixture, is that I noticed I started smelling it, and it was overcooking a little bit. Well, the shell was. And I said, well, maybe I left the shell in too long, and that's why it was overcooking. I realized what it is. When I preheated my oven, after I preheated it the first time, I should have put everything in and had everything together. And I think the oven just overheated. And what happened, it just ended up stopping it on itself and pretty much kind of trying to heal itself back to life. So for a minute I couldn't even touch it, and I let it go ahead and calm down. When it stopped making the noise, I pushed the button to start it again, and that's what I have pretty much here. So it's preheated, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the mixture in. I know not to take too long doing that. So I know my shell is going to be a little bit on the burnt side because it is already like that, and the other one ended up like that, but I think it's okay. And the pie came out pretty good. Another thing is it was like, maybe because you're supposed to keep it for 35 minutes, so it was maybe 20 something minutes, 26 minutes, that I noticed that it was getting dark around there. And when I took it out, it was shaking a little bit, and she said the mixture is not supposed to shake like jello. When it shake like jello, you know it's not done. So when I had to put it back in. I was lucky that it was closer to that 35 mark, because when I took it out, it wasn't shaking like jello. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in now. Thank you for staying with me, you guys. Hey fam, so here is the final results of both my pies, and I think they look awesome. You could tell from this one I learned. Yeah, the oven just got too overheated, but this still looks beautiful to me, and I'm sure the inside is just fine. It's just I think overcooked on the end, simply because I already had preheated the oven too, and then it was preheated the crust, and then it was overheated. But I am really liking how they both came out looking. Let me show you. This one reminds me of this cheese and spinach pizza they have. I think it's at Domino's. Doesn't that look like that? And here's the one. So this is the chorizo one, and then this is the one with spinach and artichoke. Bon appetit, you guys. So you guys have to try this. Just learn from my mistake, and I think everything will be all right. Cooking with Caroline, thank you so much, sis. I really enjoy doing this. I'm sure they're going to taste good. I'm just kind of waiting on my mom now, because she's coming from Jamaica today, and I wanted to plan something nice for her to eat and something kind of different. Okay, you guys, smooches, I love you, and peace.